Welcome back to Divulgence, everybody. My name is Jordan Vezzo. Today I have researcher and Illuminati pundit Donut here to talk about a lot of interesting stuff. This is his first time on the show, so everyone say hey. How's it going, Donut? Nice to meet you, man.
Oh, thank you so much, Jordan. What up is DOENUT? Yeah, awesome to be here for the first time.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited to have you. Before we get into anything, why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about yourself and the stuff that you like to get into?
My name's DOENUT, and you said it great. I don't know if I'm a researcher. I would love to be a researcher, but there's so many greater researchers than me that have walked this path of studying the Illuminati, the occult, and it's something I'm very much interested in learning about the secret societies, just Fortean phenomenons, just the mystery of life. And I'll put together video presentations on it, and that's what I do.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, I follow you on your social media and stuff, and you put out a lot of really interesting stuff. So anyone listening definitely should check your stuff out. It's spelled DOENUT, just for people who are listening. He's got a lot of great stuff. So
Thank you.
So today,
it's just like whatever is exciting, like.
Yeah, man, that's why I love it. That's why I love your stuff, because I'm kind of the same way. Whatever exciting or whatever catches your eye, right? Or your interest, piques your interest.
So what got you into podcasting?
Honestly, just listening to a lot of different podcasts about conspiracies, as well as deep dive kind of stuff into history and all sorts of different topics, right? From Sam's tinfoil hat, higher side chats, Andreas Exertus's stuff, the stuff that you do and Paranoid American do. So my wanting to podcast is basically I want to meet awesome people like yourself and learn awesome things like the things that you're into, and just kind of spread it out a bit more to the world so more people can learn and kind of wake up and get more than they might get out of your legacy media, your mainstream media, or your average kind of streamers or TikTokers, or whatever's in their algorithm, right? So yeah, that's kind of what got me into it.
Yeah, the strange history definitely got me like thinking. When I heard Jordan Maxwell go over like history is not like what we're told, and looking into the etymology and the history of words and symbols, brought me down that rabbit hole for sure.
So I guess the first thing we'll talk about tonight is Charlie Kirk. I know you mentioned that you had gone to the actual memorial service. So before you get into your experience with that, why don't you give me your bit of a rundown on, I guess, kind of your thoughts and feelings on what you think is going on, what we know has happened, what we're being told has happened, because there's still a lot of things that are a little bit up in the air. I mean, still, when you jump on social media, you still see tons of people trying to, kind of play detective and solve the murder, so to speak. Whether it be, the bullet would do way more damage, and questioning the shooter, questioning the motives of other people around him, and all that. It's a new kind of JFK, right? So what are your thoughts and feelings on that, Donut?
Well, like you said, it's a new JFK moment. I mean, we haven't had something this historic happened with an assassination since like for 60 years. So this is going to cause a huge ripple effect. It's like literally a turning point, and Charlie Kirk is turning point. That's his corporation, which is out here in Arizona where I'm at. And I've been to these events at Turning Point. I actually drove my homie Alex Stein on his come up there. Yeah, they were going to interview him. I drove him there, and they kicked me out and had a security guard take me to my car. I was like, that's weird, but whatever. I don't look conservative, so they probably think that I like a lefty, even though if I take a test, I line up like 100% conservative in values and beliefs. So it was weird. And then I got invited to go to another event that they had about 6 months ago. And there was all the weird people there, right? All the top podcasters. I'm talking the top podcasters. I don't want to say their names because there's already so much division. And that's sort of like, does the world need any more of this like beef? Sure. Because that's gonna
I hear you.
It's gonna sell. Having these fake beefs of influencers beefing, that's for sales. That's what it's for. It's for cross promotion. It's marketing strategy. And it's funny because you'll see the left and the right podcasting together with the exact same ideologies. They disagree on a few things, but the main talking points of where do they stand in their ideologies, they're aligned. And then we see this alignment of people utilizing this tragedy, not letting a tragedy go to waste, is a famous quote. So knowing the ideologies of what is the mission, because there's a huge vacuum now with Charlie Kirk passing for the youth. There's different segments of growth in human life for control. So the famous saying, I don't know if it was Aristotle or who said it, but show me the child by 7, I'll show you the man. This is very psychological on how to get people to go along with the plans of a hidden, manipulation. And when we're a teenager, we're going to have angst and we're going to be rebellious. So that's like the 13-year-olds. Who's aiming towards the youth with these big podcasts on streaming services that I don't even know how to use? I'm becoming an old boomer millennial now. And then when you're a millennial, there's different ages. That's why Greta Thunberg, for example, she is pushed through a doomsday cult for the youth because they know the youth's going to be like, oh, I don't like anybody who's powerful like the president, So she's a perfect tool to use that. For me, it was going to Hot Topic, right? I go to Hot Topic. I got all these punk bands that tell me we're going to fight the system, but then I become an adult and they're telling me to go along with the system, like what's going on here? So when we're seeing people use this tragedy, see what their ideologies are, see what their belief system is. They're going to tell you a narrative and omit the information of not in line with whatever agenda that they have. And that's what all the top podcasters do right now that are claiming alternative, of the mainstream, although they all come from the mainstream. So it's kind of just a little fun story. I don't think I told anybody that about the Turning Point stuff, but I went to the memorial. Yeah. I went to the memorial,
And what was that like? So, what was the, were there enough seats for everyone? Like, did you get inside? Yeah, man, like walk me through it a little bit.
So they planned this memorial on an eclipse. And in my research, I've been looking at the pattern recognition of ritual, especially ritual sacrifices happening on eclipse 3 days before, 3 days after, a full moons and whatnot, or a turning point of the sun, as it was the equinox yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago. So just something that I'm very interested in. I'm like, oh, that's weird. They're going to have this memorial go on there. So It's right down the street from me. I get there. I wanted to go because it's a very sad day for America, and I wanted to go, and I went, and there must have been, I think, 300,000 people there. It was packed. It took me 6 hours to get inside, another 3 hours to get just a water bottle. And I think that there could have been something weird going on, kind of like with President Trump going to the United Nations and his escalator wasn't working, and then his teleprompter wasn't working. Yep. I think the same thing was going on at the Cardinal Stadium, because there was nobody working the crowd to get us in, or maybe it was deliberate, because you had Marco Rubio there, you had JD Vance, you had Elon Musk there, you had all the top military of America there, right? This was like, so they probably did, for sure, man. Yeah. So they probably didn't even care. But then I go to it, and everybody has the exact same type of messaging. And it was weird. And it was packed. It was super packed. And the guy in front of me yelled at me. He told me to shut up, because I was talking me and my friend were talking. We're like, oh yeah, JD Vance, he was a never Trumper. And we were just like talking about everybody, which I think Charlie would have wanted. Charlie was all about talking and about the youth. And this old man in front of us turns around and tells us to shut up and not talk anymore. And so I thought it was interesting. And then President Trump comes out. Everyone leaves, right?
Really?
It was interesting. Yeah, I got the footage of it. My mom's like, they want to get out of there before, the traffic and all that. It's normal to happen, actually, at like a concert or an event. But I thought it was a little disrespectful to a president of the United States for everyone to leave. But it didn't even make Trump hesitate whatsoever, because he wasn't talking to that crowd. He was talking to his enemies on the television camera, which is millions and millions of people. So it doesn't even, going out in reality and watching something on the screen, which was fun to watch, because it's like I see the TV screen and everyone experiences this digitally on their phone, but then seeing in real life that everyone here is mortal. Everybody here is just a human, and the television screen makes everyone look larger than life when we're all just humans. But maybe they got some Anunnaki down there. I don't know.
That's crazy, man. That's interesting. So did you get to see like pretty much all the speeches?
I saw all the top officials. Tulsi Gabbard was there. The Pete Hegseth guy was there with the Knights Templar tattoo.
Okay,
They kept saying this word revival, like pattern recognition, like you're getting sleepy, revival.
Okay.
And my studies going into the Templars in these different secret societies, there seems to be an agenda happening. It's interesting. And I don't know if everybody is part of it, which I don't think they are, but there's definitely weird stuff going
on. Which of the speeches that you heard, did any of them kind of stick out to you in any other way?
They didn't. That's the thing, is that it sounded like, to me, and this is just how my own opinion, it all sounded the same. It sounded like the exact same messaging from the teleprompter of what to say. It was a weird feeling, and it was on an eclipse, and it was definitely an experience.
Can you get a little bit more into the relevance of the eclipse? Because I find that's pretty interesting. Did you And what made you think about looking into that? Did you kind of stumble upon it, or did you say, I wonder if this has a connection?
Yeah, so I did a video days prior on the eclipse and its connections to ritual and the different ley lines. The meridians, they're called rose lines that are also called blood lines. And the ancient lore is that they're called Argo lines in Paris, like in the movie The Da Vinci Code. They're called a rose line, but that could be the bloodline of a family. And in their lore, they're like, our family like goes back to Jesus Christ, right? Or something like that. So that's what we're told. But I believe there's a lot more going on. I believe that's just the story, the esoteric story, not the exoteric, which is what's actually going on. It happened on the 33rd parallel, which is this famous ley line that has all this geomagnetic energy. Geomagnetic energy. It's funny. Watch it like this. Geomagnetic energy in the ley line, harnessing all the power. I believe that the 33rd ley line is like connected to Hawaii as well. I don't know. I could be wrong, but the ancients would use the eclipse to map out the ley lines so they can go travel to the new lands and find different islands to put treasure on or to have a fort on. And the way that they figured this out back in the ancient days was through eclipse, through different moon standstills, different turning points of the sun. And that's how they were able to map out the ley lines so people could travel.
Interesting. Wow. So I know another thing that I think you're definitely the first person I saw to bring it up. But can you tell us about your discovery about the movie Snake Eyes?
Oh yeah, it wasn't my discovery. The whole internet going wild right now. Yeah, this film Snake Eyes. Sam Tripoli actually tweeted it out during the Trump assassination attempt and was like, look at Snake Eyes. There's something here with all these connections. And I remember I did a video on it because I was like, wow, there is a lot going on with this Brian De Palma film. And this film, Snake Eyes, you got Nicolas Cage on the cover doing the famous Illuminati hand sign that Elon did with Trump when they were in the box office, the famous upside down triangle. And I've read a lot of books on what does it mean. The symbols seem to have multiple different meanings to it. It could be a yoni symbol, for example, which is just the female genitalia. So there's a lot of different meanings in a symbol. And the film Snake Eyes, which was released in 1998, is about a guy named Charles Kirkland, right? Just like Charlie Kirk, Charles Kirkland, who gets assassinated at a Tyler, the Executioner, boxing match. Now, the assassination happened by a guy supposedly named Tyler Robinson. So there's the Tyler, the Charles Kirk. That's weird. And he gets assassinated by getting shot in the neck. In this movie, this fictional character named Charles Kirkland gets assassinated by being shot in the neck on September 10th. When you look at the beginning of the film, it says September 10th. Some people say it says September 19th. It does look like September 19th, but still, even if the date's not wrong and it's just September, it's still freaking weird. And Tyler, I guess, is like a doorman for a Masonic lodge. And in the film, when you first get to see Tyler the Executioner, he's behind a door. And he's like, there's Tyler. And there's a doorman who wouldn't let him in, which I thought was kind of probably super symbolic there, too.
So just just backing up, you said Tyler refers to a doorkeeper in Masonic terms?
Yeah, a Tyler is who like guards the door of a Freemasonic lodge.
Interesting. So when you see like, yeah, that's crazy. With, I mean, it being the month is close enough with the names, him getting shot in the neck, like that's really wild. So what do you when you see stuff like that and you're doing analysis on movies and stuff, I mean, what is your thought on that? I mean, is it
freaking weird?
Is it related to Project Bluebeam? Is it some sort of predictive programming? Is it some sort of I don't know, man. I don't even know.
I call it priming because priming is a hypnosis technique. It could also be on the world stage plans written in movie scripts as well. For example, The Lone Gunman, the film by the X-Files, they released right before 9/11, like in March, a story of what happened on 9/11. Like, right. So, and there's other films and TV shows that I've heard that, you know, their plans in the writing, but no one will look into it because it's just a film or a movie, but really they're like the blueprints of what to do. But when it comes to predictive programming, like we all see all the different 9/11, you know, towers collapsing going back to the, I believe, 1800s with the federal edifice showing the pillars collapsing. That it's like going to a movie theater and they have a Coca-Cola and M&M commercial. Everybody knows what Coca-Cola is, McDonald's, but they still have commercials because that's how it stays in our mind. And that's a hypnosis technique, is priming. So that's what I think is going on when it comes to predictive programming, is just priming people to accept it when it happens. That's what I think. What do you think it is?
Oh, that's a good thought. I have a hard time deciphering it still. I'm still trying to learn about a lot of this stuff, but I mean, it's definitely wildly strange and to an extent very suspicious. I mean, how do it's just crazy when coincidences line up like that, right? And they always seem to, in very distressing or trying times, like assassinations or terror plots, or, you know, just the forming and operating of various groups and their what we're told they're there to do and what they may actually be doing from behind the scenes. So I mean, I'm sure you understand with all the research you do that there's so much going on around this world, right? So, and I mean, we do know that you know, agencies like the CIA and stuff are involved in Hollywood and stuff like that. So it just makes you want to know more and think about it more. And it also makes you think that maybe there's something to it. So yeah, I don't know if it's damn, man, I don't know. I really don't know.
I always thought it was funny how the Vatican funded Men in Black too. You know, so you get institutions funding different films and movies to put a certain message into the film, even if it was like Glenn Beck or somebody producing a film, which was a good film that he produced. It was like about the guy on death row communicating with, like, he was possessed by like the devil or something. Okay. So there's always going to be the producer to put like the different messaging, if it's good or if it's bad, it's just what it is. Like that you put the messaging in film. But then once you have a CIA or something like that involved in it, you're not just watching a film, you're watching propaganda. And the reason why so many comedians have been such strong propagandists is because it lowers your defenses. So you've got Jimmy Kimmel, right? He's not a comedian, he's a propagandist. So when it comes to comedians pushing political narratives, that is a little strange. And even me, I'm pretty funny, I think, sometimes, which is probably why I could get across my own message nicely when I communicate.
Yeah. What do you think about? Well, no, it's just. I guess it's the same thing. I mean, you're right. It is weird for comedians to kind of take. I mean, I do enjoy stuff like Bill Maher. I mean, he says that he tries to walk in the middle, but I think he's more of on the Democratic side. But I mean, he likes to take punches at both sides, and it's just funny to listen to jokes or kind of troll people in politics, right? Because there's especially like, I mean, the Trump cabinet and the Trump administration alone has enough clowns and characters in it to to make tons of content and memes and pictures and all that stuff. So yeah, I definitely do enjoy it. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, well, laughter is so important, and it's good to laugh. It's good for the autonomic nervous system as well. And I've always been someone who likes to laugh and all that. But since I started doing this like full time, I haven't been laughing as much, and that's not good because I'm looking into some wicked stuff. But laughing and listening to comedy and comedians and funny shows is super important because the vagus nerve is something I've been focusing on with getting into a parasympathetic state rather than a fight or flight state, which I've been in forever. When it comes to what's happening on the world stage, I've always told people that you get a big Loosh festival, which is like an energy vampire, like sucking the energy from people, right? In a traumatic event. But then you get targeted type of looshing with certain groups. So I'm Jewish, and the Jews have been freaking like, going through it, you know. But this is going to happen to every group. It's not just me. It's, I was saying a while ago that you had the lockdowns. That's everybody. Everybody gets hit with it. Then you have Black Lives Matter. So that's towards, the blacks. Then you have the ICE stuff, and that's towards the Mexicans. And then, it just, so each group's gets hit with this. So they get put into a fight or flight state. That's not how we're supposed to be. We're not always supposed to be in fight or flight mode. And I've been working on how to get out of that. And it's hard to get out of that, with all the information. There's way too much information, like all day long, where we don't even have time, if we're addicted to our phones, to stop and think about it. Think about what did this podcast just say? Ask questions about it for like a week or something to think about what's going on, because we're just bombarded constantly.
Every day, man. Every day. You know what I mean? Some people try to put out content every day or every second day. So if you're following so many people, right, you're just and plus if you're just going through your feed, you're just getting bombarded with stuff. It's so hard to keep up. Like you literally pretty much have to decide, what am I going to pay attention to on a regular basis, and what stuff can I kind of just check in on once in a while. And I mean, what stuff do I kind of just have to not pay much attention to, because there's so much, right? And like, now that, especially now that history is coming back, I feel like history is coming back in such a, big way now. um, and I think that's a big part of where things are going. And I think that a turn to kind of rewrite history and hide history of certain countries. I mean, every country's done bad things over their history. I'm sure. So I mean, I think, for example, some Americans are being very hard on their own country, and I feel like, yeah, America's done a lot of fucked up stuff, but your your country's in very good shape compared to. I mean, it's going through its own stuff right now, but it's still in much better shape than a lot of the countries around the world, especially around the Middle East. And I think people should be proud and happy about that.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a there's a lot going on all over the world that's like awful, and yeah, it's good. It's weird. Even yeah, it's deep. That's deep, bro.
That's just like how I think sometimes um, when I'm like trying to think about, okay, what do I want to do with this show? Because I made it a while back, but I took quite a long break. So I've just kind of restarted recently. So I'm still in the process of trying to figure out, like, what do I want my message to be, and what stuff do I want to focus on? Because like I've told you, I have so many interests. Um,
What are you
but
the most excited about?
so many things, man. Like I do find it interesting, like all the nonsense that's happened, like on a day to day in politics and stuff. But then um, uh, conspiracies are wild, connecting dots are wild. Asking questions of stuff that's already happened in history is can be pretty wild. And stuff with whether like science or astrology, I've been trying to get into a little bit and learn a little bit about. So I'm trying to, I want to try to dip my toe in everything a little bit, to see all the different things that do excite me. Um, but yeah, I just think learning is an exciting thing altogether. Just learning things you didn't know, but especially things that you wouldn't expect. And I think you find that a lot in politics and history to the same extent, because there's a lot of wacky people in history and in politics that come up, right? Like, I mean, look at Donald Trump. That whole thing on its own is a wild phenomenon. Um, so
And
yeah.
the bombardment, like of everything. Reading a book is kind of like what I like to do. It's just there's just too much craziness, and it's getting overwhelming for me. Where I'm like, there's just so much information. There's so many different decoders, because what I do is a lot of decoding, and I'm friends with a lot of decoders. But we all have a different reticular activation system of focusing on what we're focusing on. So if I want to buy a Jeep, I'm going to see Jeeps everywhere on the highway. So it's like it gets so overwhelming that what I've been doing is picking up a book. I bought this Knights Templar book for $3 at Goodwill, and it was on the ley lines, and it was something I've always wanted to dive deep into reading, and I was excited about that. So I was able to do that. And if you can read a book rather than scroll, your attention and your patience will like be better than most of the population. So that's super important. And now I'm reading a book on UFOs.
Nice. Yeah, that stuff's interesting too. Space and aliens and stuff, and extraterrestrials. What's your thought on aliens?
So the book I'm reading is
Are you reading right now?
Reza Giorgiani, and he's a philosopher. So he's breaking it down. He's not a ufologist. He's breaking it down with philosophy and all that. And I'm only on chapter 1. Read the introduction in chapter 1, and it's pretty dope. I really liking it. So that will be like the next presentation that I'll do. But where I stand on it is I like aliens since a little kid. And then I read Canadian Patriot website. They have a thing called MK Ultra, the Rockefellers, and the Clintons. What do they all have in common? And then that broke me out of this psychological operation of the whole alien stuff, because there's a lot of shady characters manipulating how we view this phenomenon of a UFO. I think people see UFOs, I've seen stuff, everybody's seen something, strange, but the narrative is leading people, like there's like an occult narrative happening, I have a lot of opinions on it. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. That's the thing, is where I'm at right now, I'm like, I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, it's just wild that like there hasn't been something that everyone can point to and say, look at that kind of thing, right? I mean, there are some things that you can point to, and a lot of people will be interested, but I feel like there's still not. Obviously, there's not something that. I mean, could just be that some people don't care. At the same time, I mean, people's interests change, and their attention spans can be quite small. But yeah, it's crazy how there's nothing that's so obvious that we can say, or even for the majority of the people to say, yeah, there's most likely something going on, and there's aliens, and we just haven't met them yet. But it'd be interesting. I mean, it seems like there's more stuff coming out lately. I haven't been paying attention to the hearings and stuff, but I mean, I should check into that. But it seems like they just want to give you a little taste of something, and then give you a lot of filler. But yeah. Anyways, so one thing, I guess, before we get into some of the other stuff that you've been interested into lately, what's your are you a fan of the movie Eyes Wide Shut?
Oh yeah, that movie dope. Yeah, let's go. Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, man, for sure. I love that shit.
I like filmmaking, and what a great filmmaker he was.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every movie is just amazing. I mean, I feel like I need to watch Barry Lyndon again to make sure that I can appreciate it to its extent. I haven't seen it since I was very young, but all the other movies I've watched much more recently. And Eyes Wide Shut, I'm into that all the time. And
yeah, I was really drunk when I was 10, and my mom, she didn't, I don't think she knew, but I had a hangover, and she rented me Clockwork Orange, and I watched that with a hangover at 10, and it changed my life. I was like, it broke something in the brain, the way that film's put together. I just like the title, Eyes Wide Shut. Like your eyes are wide open, your eyes are wide shut. It's just like, what a cool title that is. And I remember when it came out.
Sorry, keep going, man.
Oh, I remember when it came out. It was probably around that same time. I must have been around 10 or something. And I remember watching it, and I was all like, that was sad. I was like, I didn't know anything about like Illuminati stuff. I was just really upset that girl cheated on him in like her dream. I was like so mad. I was like, that's so mean to do. Why would you do that? And I remember I was like tripping about that.
That's funny, man. Yeah. Um,
And I'm talking about that the sex dream she has with the Navy officer.
the naval officer, yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, and it just haunts him throughout the movie.
Yeah,
And
it was a painting of the guy who where they're coming. They had this guy paint the dream, and they were doing it on a horse in the painting, which I thought was interesting because I did this breakdown on the Illuminati horses, and so like that the wet dream sequence was originally supposed to be them doing it on a horse, So I thought that was
really?
kind of a weird, fun. I always find the weird things and weird stuff.
Well, that movie's just filled with it, right? I mean, even the title. I mean, I wonder if it's like a clue. If he's trying to tell us, okay, if you want to understand the movie, you got to look at it from this point of view, or something like that. But I'm bringing on someone I've had on the show, Sean McCann, who we've talked about Eyes Wide Shut on the show many times, and he has pretty much like in run the movie, like imposed on itself, starting at different times, and he's apparently unlocked all sorts of wild stuff. So I'm very excited to see um, what he's unlocked, because I'm trying to compile um, like a frame by frame PowerPoint of the movie, just to keep track of all the little wild stuff going on in the movie, because there's so much going on. And um, I mean, I would love to figure it out, but I mean, more. I'm always drawn to the thought that something's been cut out of the movie. Um, there's
I
people that
heard
have come.
15 minutes of it was cut out.
Is that right?
Yeah, what happened in those 15 minutes?
Right. Yeah. Um, I can't remember who was talking about it, but
And also, um, they cut out different music. So there was different music as well that was removed.
what do you mean by that? Like they put in different music, or they just cut the music completely, or
They replaced the music when like he died.
oh, man, like
So
I'd
there's
love.
like because his music's very important when it comes to like the Mozart and Clockwork Orange. Like the
Yeah,
music telling something very
his
important.
yeah, he does great with music. He's a brilliant man with music for sure. Clockwork Orange, Eyes Wide Shut, 2001, like The Shining, like they all have such signature uh, pieces in them at signature times. So I definitely agree with that. So to hear that the music was cut, wow, that's crazy, because if yeah, scenes are being cut and music's being swapped, they're really trying to like, obviously this movie, if this movie is a puzzle for us, they wanted to basically, you know, cut up pieces so that things just don't fit, right? So
Hmm.
that's wild, man. That's wild. Uh, my the first thing that blew my mind really was the ending, when I realized what was going on at the end, right where
With the
was it
girl, with the
Helena? Yeah,
little.
the girl gets handed off to the two
That's
guys
so
that were in the
scary. Yeah, I
movie.
just
It's
learned
so
about that.
scary. It
Yeah,
is so freaky.
that would
And then
freak me out.
you realize these guys have been in the movie before, and like they're hanging out at Ziegler's mansion, and it's like that is very scary, very scary. You just get
Oh,
crazy,
so
like
they were in it before those guys, those at the very end that like take
yeah,
her.
they are at I think they're near the beginning of the movie. Um, and I mean, they could have been cut out from another part of the movie, right? But they're at near the beginning of the movie at Ziegler's party. So I believe it's when Bill is going up the stairs to go see Ziegler to help him out of the girl that's ODing. they're just hanging out there at the party, and they're there very prominently.
They're
So
just chilling there at the
it's like,
party.
I want you to see these people, remember these people. These people are going to come up, and it's going to be very significant.
And when he's walking up those stairs, there's that statue of like
Yes.
the devil behind a girl. And it's foreshadowing to the next scene where he the cover of the DVD, the cover of the movie of Tom Cruise behind Nicole Kidman in the mirror. They're
Right.
like behind each other. And that was like the statue. And that foreshadowing of a film is another way to say the predictive programming and priming. It's foreshadowing what's to come, you know. I was watching the movie Snake Eyes this morning, the first like 15 minutes of it. And before the guy gets shot in the neck, Nicolas Cage is like, "Oh, I got something in my neck." And then it cuts the next scene is it was a foreshadow getting us ready for the setup of what's to happen. So yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, I like filmmaking and movies and the script writing and all of that. Every single thing in a film, every frame, there's something there for a reason when it comes to these, big budget films.
Right.
Especially if they're film and they're not like HD camcorders.
So here's the oops.
Yeah, that was a statue.
There they are right there. Oh, yeah, there they are right there.
And that's like, oh, that's them at the table?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the statue right above them is the cover of the movie of Tom Cruise behind the girl, Nicole Kidman, right? And that's the next scene after the party.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So that's them at the table. That's crazy.
And the the art in the movie is very it's very important.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Who are the two? I found a connection and I couldn't find it again, but the two girls, the two hot girls that are with him walking, it was the slide above. What's their last name? Because I believe when I was watching the film, I was all like, their last name means something. It's like an elite type family. So
These girls?
Yeah, those girls, like they're like royals or something. Because I remember I heard their last name in the film, but then I couldn't find it later, and I was too lazy to keep looking.
Do they say their name in the film?
They do, I believe. I believe maybe they don't.
I don't know if they say I think they say the first names. Let's see.
I believe someone else might have said something. I don't know.
There's the Rockefeller reference, of course. Oh yeah, here we go. And she spells it out, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, here you go. Noella Windsor.
Yeah, Windsor.
Right.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
there's a Windsor thing, right? That's what it was.
Yeah. So there you go. And then Noella, and then she spells it out, like as if she's like, is she trying to hypnotize him? Is he already hypnotized? Like, what's going on here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Windsor stuff was connected to the ley line information too. And like Princess Diana, she was part of like the Windsor and the Merovingians. So like the ley lines are connected to the different bloodlines, like when it comes to that. Something I've been learning about. Very interesting.
Can you explain what are the ley lines? Can you just get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so like a stone circle, like Stonehenge or something like that, there's like a magnetic charge. There's this great Werner Herzog documentary called Nomad. Highly recommend it. And they go to this place that's magnetic. So when they're there, like compasses go all out of whack, sort of like the Bermuda. It's not a triangle. People call it the Bermuda Triangle, but it's actually a trapezoid or something. It's the Bermuda trapezoid. I like this.
Okay.
Like, it's not exactly a triangle. It's a trapezoid or something. But there's different energy points that, like, temples were built, then they get destroyed, and then churches are built on it. They have energy there. There's some sort of energy, and they set up shop wherever these geomagnetic, like magnetic energy parts of the earth are at with the meridian. Even to the Templars, Mary Magdalene is like a code word for meridian. That's what it said in this book. I thought that was interesting. So things have different meanings. And they set up shop at these different, like, meridians. And through symbolism, through statues, through paintings, the secrets of the meridians are there or on a map. And so they're able to travel to where they're hiding the secrets or the treasures, or where to travel. Like, back in the day, people thought the earth's flat, so why would you even go into the ocean? You're going to fall off the edge of the earth, as we see down below. That these people with maps, they're like, well, I know we can hit America right there. In Rhode Island, Rhode Island's got this Templar building there. So like people have been in America a long time. There's Chinese people here in America when people are like, nobody knew it existed. People were traveling. So some people knew, and most people didn't. And they knew how to get to places with the ley lines. So like this Templar building in Rhode Island called Newport Tower, it has 3 windows. So when the sun hits one of the windows, it's a turning point. And so that's how they mapped it out. I don't know how to do it, but it's very important. Even in Masonic rituals, even in the rituals, they're telling the secrets to the different ley lines and meridians. Have you seen the newest Count of Monte Cristo film?
No, I have not. No. What's going on with that?
I'm a big fan of the one before it, but the newest one, he gets a map. He follows the map and the meridians, and he gets the Knights Templar treasure, and then he can dominate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not. Would you recommend to check that shit out or what?
No. The one before... Yeah, the one before it is sick though.
Okay, no, but I should check out the other one though.
Yeah, the one that came out like in the 2000s.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that one is sick. It's a great revenge film. It's like Scarface.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's sick. It's super. Like, it's all about power and all that, and like, I find that stuff interesting. The psychology behind power and the different power moves that, like, when I'm watching the world leaders make different moves, I look at it like, oh, it's interesting. Like the different power moves being made.
That's cool. It's always nice to apply different works of art to what's going on in the world, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. The world is insane.
So here, just I'm pretty sure. Let me just pull out my thing again. So I'm pretty sure at this point of the movie, where Ziegler says, or no, he tells her that he needs to keep her for an hour, and then he repeats it and says an hour, and then he checks his watch. I believe that's where you're supposed to, according to Sean, I believe that's where you restart the movie from that point, and then that's where things start lining up. So,
wow,
yeah.
And so then you overlay it.
Yeah. So if you're available, you know what? When I book them, and if you're available, I'd love to have you on, because if you're into that stuff
Oh, I
too,
would love to be there.
yeah, yeah, because this is like, it has been, and it currently still is, definitely my favorite movie to decode. Uh, so yeah, I love finding people that are into the movie. But yeah, that's a point there, and it's just interesting now that I think of it, how many times things are like repeated or like spelt out in the movie. So a lot of the things about the movie are very dreamlike, or like you're in a hypnotic state, or you're like sleepwalking, right? Like eyes wide shut kind of thing. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's wild. So it's I'm a big fan of like classic movies and stuff. So I like the Criterion Collection when they put movies in. So pretty much every movie of Kubrick's, except for like 2001 and Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
And
I
maybe,
just watched
maybe
Rashomon, which is part of the Criterion Collection.
nice. Yeah,
Rashomon.
man.
You've seen
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I've got that one too.
That was a good one.
You like
And
that
like,
one?
so like that movie Weapons that just came out, that's very like popular.
Yeah.
They were sort of doing the Rashomon effect in that, where they're telling the story from like 4 different angles, and they all
Okay.
have a different story, sort of.
I still have to check out Weapons, because apparently that one's pretty wild too. So
It's good the first time watch. Yeah. The second time I knew what was going to happen and wasn't as good, but the first time watching it is very fun.
cool, cool. So yeah, so Eyes Wide Shut just recently got added to the Criterion Collection, which is awesome, because it deserves it. But also, I'm excited to see what version they do, and like how they remastered and stuff, because maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of something. And there's quite a bit of extra bonus features, so maybe some of the interviews and stuff will be new content, and that'll be interesting. So yeah, super excited about that. So yeah, everyone listening, stay tuned for that, because that's going to be great. But yeah, again, Eyes Wide Shut it's an amazing movie. It's funny because when I first saw it, like years ago, I was like, oh man, like uh, what's this movie? Like, it's not that great. But then, like, when I started figuring out what's going on, I'm like, this movie is absolutely amazing. I just didn't have much appreciation for certain types of music and films back then, but yeah, that definitely helped. But just seeing all the different symbolism and things going on, it's just wild. Are you familiar with the?
Illuminati movie, and I like
It
it's like,
is. Yeah, man, for
and
sure.
like that they're all like doing it at the party, like that's crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, just how he's being watched, he's being warned. Uh, yeah, it's crazy,
And the
and
masks.
yeah, the masks are wild. I would love to go. I forget what country the guy lives in, but I would love to go check out the mask shop that the guy runs, who made the masks for the movies, because they're awesome, man. They're awesome. They're wild masks for sure. I mean, obviously he puts 100% into all his movies, and um, it shows. Yeah, it definitely shows. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's crazy. It's just like it's filmed like they do something symbolically, and they're always fun to revisit too.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. My buddy Andreas, he loves bringing up different movies and good ones to revisit. So, and I find that a lot of the ones that are in the Criterion Collection, or that kind of get re-released through these other companies, there's a lot of interesting movies there. A lot of interesting movies seem to go under the radar back then. So it's cool to kind of try to dig those up and see what's going on, because I mean, I could just imagine what whenever the CIA first started getting involved with Hollywood, and it's like, well, let's try this, let's try that. What are we gonna do? And who knows what they could have done, right? So there could be a lot of interesting gems out there with a lot of interesting content in it. So
yeah, it's always wild watching films, and because we kind of rely on other decoders to decode the films for us, so a lot of the stuff gets highlighted and we all know about it, but then once you understand symbolism, then you can watch a film and find other stuff because you know how to speak that language, because it's a language.
Absolutely. Do you have like a favorite movie that you like to go to, or like a favorite one that like there's definitely shit going on in this movie, or crazy theories or anything like that? Do you have a go-to?
I like Ghost Dog. That movie's cool.
With Forrest Whitaker?
Yeah.
Nice. Also on Criterion.
Not so much Illuminati. I guess there could be something to Illuminati because it is the samurai who served the elites, so there's something there, being like the protectors of the elites, if you got Illuminati or like the elites. So there's something there. But I thought that film was really cool. And just the code of the samurai. That movie just is what popped up in my head. I like the new show, The Paper, about.
Is that any good? Yeah,
it's very good.
Is it American or is it British?
So it's like a little mixture of both. Very great, very good. I was very pleased with it. I'm a big fan of the show The Office, and I've been decoding The Office for 3-4 years now, making a presentation on is Dunder Mifflin a criminal organization connected to the Rothschilds and whatnot.
Can you get into a little bit of that?
Yeah, maybe? Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's full of cool, man.
It is full of symbolism. So what I found is BJ Novak, who plays Ryan, he's the temp that shows up the first day, and he's sent by a lady whose name means Venus. And then he does a ritual with Dwight on episode 33 called The Initiation. Interesting because it's the 33rd episode. It's called The Initiation. And he's presented a Venus statue as a gift for his ritual, where he was supposed to lay in a coffin in a skull and bones ritual. And right behind him is a huge Masonic compass while he's doing this a 3-step ritual, because the Masonic master builder, type of ritual, the 3 is the most important. That's why you see 3s everywhere with 3 different symbols, 3 strikes, 3 outs. So this is the episode. And I think just that enough shows that there is something to decode here that's going to be sick. So like if you look up, he whittled him something. So maybe if you look up the word whittle, I think it's Widdle. You don't have to, but he gives him this statue. Oh, I mean, it's got to also say
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I thought you just wanted the definition.
Yeah. Oh no. Whittle. I don't know. You don't have to do it, but this is where I was like, damn, I'm on to something, because okay, right there on the top right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. So that right there, that's a symbol of Venus. It's one of the most ancient symbols of Venus on her tippy toes. That's why Barbie is always on high heels, or women wear high heels. It's all symbolic to Venus. So that is the most ancient symbol of Venus. Now, when I was doing my decode, I'm like, BJ Novak gets sent by a girl that we never see, and her name means Venus. And then he gets a literal Venus statue. So like the decode's going to be excellent. I've been doing this like for 4 years, watching it over and over, but so it's going to be good.
Awesome, dude. That's
And
awesome.
nobody knows this. This ain't on no office like Reddit or nothing, So it's going to be deep because it's
cool.
the same people that made The Simpsons. The Simpsons got tons of symbolism.
Okay.
Yeah,
for sure, dude. Yeah, and what do you think of like their? I mean, because when we were talking earlier about like predictive content, I guess, what do you think about them? Because they've got so many. Even they got so many 9/11 ones alone, like predictive things, like or foreshadowing details,
so,
right?
the famous picture of the 9/11 BART where it has the two towers and it says 9/11 on it. The first one to bring this to the table. I always want to give myself credit just because no one else is going to.
This
one?
one?
Have you heard of the Mount? Yeah, that one right there. So I got a theory on this that no one's pointed out because I think it's important to point out different stuff that nobody else is pointing out.
Yeah.
For example, you probably heard about this Mountain Dew conspiracy.
Yes, but
just
remind the listeners.
So this Mountain Dew conspiracy, super viral. I was one of like the forerunners showing the Maui blast, with Maui and the fires. But I was like, I'm going to add on to this. And then I added on to the, Truther Collective, the Code Red, where it's like Code Red, Mountain Dew came out. Then we got the Code Red system of Homeland Security right after it, like literally like a week or a month right after it. So now Mountain Dew's talking about it, and all these people are making videos, but I'll never get credit for it. But it's like super viral. But there's other great, like my friend Maverick Approach. You got to bring him on. He's really good. He added a ton of information as well, and so they're stealing his information as well now and putting it out there. So that's why I want to give me a shout out, just because. For
sure.
Mountain Dew's talking about it now. It's like a huge corporation. Like they're probably making a lot of money off that. But that Bart Simpson 9/11 one that no one's pointed out is the man. I sound so egotistical right now.
No, dude, all good.
It's not just the 9/11. I think that is about the money, because if you look at that image, you'll see the dollar sign at the top and a bus heading towards the US dollar. So I believe that it is predictive programming on this like collapse of the dollar. So we see the 9/11 New York, but then there's the ISIS dollar sign, and the bus is about to crash into the money. So I think that is symbolism there, but who knows? Maybe it's not. But that is weird. It says 9/11, right? That's freaking weird.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some weird ones like I think there's one with the helicopter crashing into towers or something like that. But yeah, that's crazy. It's interesting.
Have you seen the federal edifice?
The federal edifice.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is like from the 1700s or the 1800s. It's called the Federal Edifice, and it shows the two towers collapsing. So that's symbolism of the pillars collapsing. And that dollar sign is the pillars collapsing as well, because it's the pillar dollar. That's where we get the dollar sign from, the two pillars in it. So right there on the left, top left, or any of them really, you could see the two towers collapsing. And that,
wow.
Yeah, that was written like in the 1700s or the 1800s about the Saturnian age that we're entering into. So there's a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, it's all about how deep you dig, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any, I mean, before we start wrapping up, is there would you like to share maybe one other topic that something that's been on your mind lately, or some of the more recent stuff that you had researched?
Yeah, so the sex recession.
Yeah, let's hear about that, man.
50% of America is in a sex recession or something like that. And I read all the articles, and then I mixed it in with controversial figures like Wilhelm Reich, who his books were burned by the US government and the National Socialist as well. And he talked about the rise of fascism. Right now, we're seeing an absolute rise of fascism on both sides of the left and the right, just wanting this. And how certain symbols like the swastika would charge even more energetically because of psychologically with like libido and whatnot. I'm not probably saying it correct, but that's what the study, when I was writing a report on it, tying in all these factors. And people aren't doing it anymore. And the consensus that we're getting is somewhat true, but a lot of information was omitted, where we're not having dinner parties anymore. We're not having Illuminati dinner parties like in Eyes Wide Shut anymore. And people probably go to one dinner party a year or host one dinner party a year. And in the 80s, it was 42 parties a year. So the cell phone, we're all not hanging out with each other anymore. And can we even hang out with each other anymore? People don't even know how to look people in the eyes or communicate anymore. Everyone's like in their digital silo. But then I added in the information of the rise of narcissism. Narcissism is at such a high. And what narcissism is the betrayal of the self. So if I have an emotion, for example, I'm a kid and I'm like, man, I really like ICP. I like being a juggalo. This is what I love. And then my parents are like, you can't do that. You can't wear makeup. That's for fagulas, or whatever. And then I'm like, I don't like ICP, or, I'm not a juggalo. Everyone will make fun of me. I have just betrayed my true emotions. And that's how narcissism gets created in a fun way. I'm talking about it's the narcissistic personality disorder. It's really stemming from an evil place of the unloving, mother and the terrible authority figures. It's very sad for them because they have removed who they are emotionally. And now we live in a society that shames emotion. If you have any emotion, if you have any true feelings, even if you emote anger or emote gratitude or love, people don't like it. People are like, I don't like that, And also adding on top of that, the drowning out of anxiety, the drowning out of different substances and mind-altering chemicals and whatnot. So the whole emotional state, people build this body armor. They build an armor and they become rigid. And the narcissist is known as the mask, right? Everyone was wearing a mask, but a narcissist has a mask where it's who they appear to be in society. But it's not who they really are. They're wearing like a mask, like American Psycho. When he's peeling the mask, that's another great freaking movie right there.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
When he's peeling his freaking face off with the mask? That's
Yep.
like a perfect representation of this creature who just wants power, even to the point where his business card looks amazing, but someone else's business card, which turns out to be him, I believe, is just a little bit better. And he's so pissed off because That's the will to power. That's like the narcissist will operate. How can I become more powerful? If I join this religion, I'm going to become more powerful because I'll get this many subscribers. Or if I join this political movement, I'm going to gather all these subscribers. So I'm just, this is how they operate through power dynamics. And now we have a society of digital armor where we have the profile image, we have the Snapchat filter, we have the correct camera angles and the perfect lighting. Like me, I got this nice lighting. I'm a little narcissistic, but it's what it is. Perfect lighting because it's a defense mechanism of who am I really? And on top of that, I'm being watched. You got the ratio, you got the crowd, you got the people in the comment section, you got your friends and your family. What are you going to post on Facebook? Nobody's who they really are anymore because you really can't be, because social media is not a social institution. It's a digital silo for parroting your belief system. So anyone who goes onto the internet, they're not going to YouTube to listen to an opposing opinion. That's not what the internet is. It's just a collective group of people going and listening to what they want to hear. That's what it is. It's not a social, it's not socializing. So this narcissism at such a high, we got all this digital armor of everyone pretending to be something that they're actually not because of the fear of being judged by others and whatnot. And then you go out to date or whatnot. That's going to be awful because passion and love and all that different, stuff, that's an emotional thing. That's not, that's like emotional. And we get these Grammy Award-winning songs called Aroused Genitalia by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. You know that song?
Yeah. Oh, I don't listen to it, but yeah, I hear you.
Oh, it's a good song. Is it really? It goes hard, yeah. But it's a song about having the most aroused genitalia, right? The most. It's like top-notch aroused genitalia, right? The best of the best. That's what the song's about. And this is played at the Grammys on YouTube. Anybody could watch it. Any age, they don't care. You can watch it. It's crazy. Now, that's an billboard. That's an ideal image to imitate, right? It's the simulacrum. So when we see billboards, music videos, magazines of Kardashians or rappers or whatever it is, we're supposed to imitate that ideal image of having the greatest genes ever, right? That is what it's for. It's a simulacrum. It's the ideal image for us to become, which is like impossible to become. And that is going to drive people mad because that image of having the most aroused genitalia, I'm being funny. I'm saying this stuff because it's funny.
It's good. I like it.
If the narcissist can't have that image of themselves, there's going to be a schism there, and it's going to make them retreat, and it's going to break their brain because it's all about image. That's what it's all about. It's about that mask, to wear that mask, and how can people have that? And so that's some other stuff I tied into it. Maybe it didn't make sense, but whatever. That's just kind of what I do.
No, man, that's interesting. That's great.
What's your thoughts on that? I want to know your thoughts on that. I'm still working on on getting that pitch down. I don't have it completely down yet.
So sorry. What are my thoughts on the? Because
Yeah.
you threw a lot of wild stuff at me, man.
Okay. All right. Does it make any sense at all?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not. You're a little over my head, but like I hear what you're saying. Like I'm encouraged to hear more. And
I got to simplify it more. Yeah, you don't understand something until you could simplify it that like it's easy to understand. So I'm still learning.
No, that's cool. We're all still learning, man. That's what it's all about. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that we were able to connect, and yeah, I'd love to learn more from you again, man. So I appreciate your time. Before you go, though, can you let everyone know where they can find you? Or your
You can
website?
find me at DOENUT Donut.
Donut. There we go.
Oh, that's me right there.
So you got your Patreon. You
That's
also
a,
have a
yes.
you also have a digital book, correct?
Yeah, I wrote it in like 2019. It's not a really like I would get the comic instead. The comic go hard. But I'm gonna make another book eventually. But yeah, I got that out there. If they want to support me, just subscribe to my YouTube or Patreon. That means a lot. There's my cat.
I was going to ask you, is that your cat?
Yeah, it's Chan.
Nice.
He's eating treats. If you support me on Patreon, he gets treats. That's him.
Well, there you go. That's a good enough reason for anyone.
Look how cute that cat is. He's got me under the toxoplasmosis hypnosis.
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you, man. We'll have to have you back again. We'll definitely bring you on. We'll see if you can make it for the Eyes Wide Shut chat coming up, because that'll be great. And yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat. Thanks to all the listeners and watchers. And yeah, everybody have yourself a wonderful night and have a great day tomorrow.